This program is brought to you by Ubalaba Ilonggo Ware, Gralex Glass and Aluminum Services, Chicken House, Ting Ting's Native Food, Chong Tapsilogan and Sizzlers, and Green Tree Gelato.
It's summer once again, and this being the Philippines, we expect temperatures to soar, or in the case of Bacolod yesterday, floodwaters to rise. And this being Negros Island, we expect the Tiempo Muerto, when work slows down or stops in the haciendas of the island. Hunger and poverty are expected to deepen in the countryside. And then there's the Holy Week, a time to reflect and ponder on what's happening to us and to our country. In 2016, summer, Rafael Coscolluela, former governor, told then newly elected President Rodrigo Duterte to call him if he wants to settle differences with him. It was, for many Filipinos, a summer of discontent. Are we still in another summer of discontent? Today, we talked to Lito Coscolluela, former governor of Negros Occidental and one of the lucid thinkers of his time. Lucid thinkers of his time. We shall talk about the lack of discourse, the lack of debate even, especially in the age of social media, when everyone thinks he or she is an expert. And we have the former governor, Rafael Coscolluela. Gob, welcome to Editor's Table.
Thank you, Joel. First time ko and thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you for the time, Gob. Yeah. First of all, let's talk about that incident in 2016. What did you actually say to then President Duterte, newly elected president?
That enough was enough. No? His demeanor as a candidate, as a potential leader, this was not sending very good signals to the population, particularly the young Filipinos. Ang insulting language, he was in the habit of insulting everyone. In fact, I lost count of the sectors na wala niya pa ma-insulto. The insult that broke the camel's back was when he insulted domestic helpers. Siniko daw gusto na daw sobra na niya. I mean, you try to promote dignity for all, including domestic helpers. Kabalo ka man akong di na sila naglalin, no? But for someone like Duterte to talk in a demeaning language about domestic helpers was, I felt, something that needed to be stopped. So I told him enough is enough. And I told him that if he did not agree with me, he could always come to Bacolod and we could settle our differences. Of course, people interpreted that as a challenge to a fist fight. No? I guess it might have come to that, depending on him, of course. No, but the sad thing is, he never responded. Whether he actually read it, I don't know. I had no indication that it had reached his attention or that he was concerned about the message I was sending. So I said, well, let's leave it at that, no? If you ask me if there's been any improvement, unfortunately, it's just become more abusive. And it's worse because he holds the position of president. And as a leader, I think one of his probably sacred duties is to find ways to unite his people. And develop the sense of pride in our being Filipino, no? In our having a nation of productive citizens. Wala na, he's breaking the nation apart. At the end of his term, whenever that may be, we will all be asking ourselves, how much damage did he do to this country? And how soon can we fix the damage? To me, it's going to take a long time, because you're talking of an international image, you're talking of attitudes, you're talking of lessons learned by young Filipinos who probably will say this kind of leadership, this kind of language, this kind of attitude is okay lang. No? So, how much time it will take us to correct the damage, I really don't know. But I think we're going to have, no, let me put it another way. The next president is going to have a major, major problem in putting things right with the nation, with the people, with the way we think about ourselves, with the way the rest of the world thinks about the Philippines.
But isn't that what happens usually after every president? Let's say since Marcos.
Well, the sad thing is it looks like we never learn. Diba? Marcos, and then nagsulod si Cory. To me, that was a promise unfulfilled. That was when we ought to have learned our lessons and moved forward to develop a strong nation. But I guess Cory was also the victim of oligarchy, you know, from one set of oligarchs to another. And then we moved on to who followed Cory? Ramos. To me, FVR was, well, in my opinion, he was the best president we've had since the time of Marcos. He tried to do a lot of damage control. In fact, a lot of compromises, you know, what he had to do to solve the power crisis. No? And he tried to talk to us like Pilipino kitatanan. Di ba? Ang iyang clarion call was, kaya natin to. Because he was telling us in a sense na, Stoy, don't look at me as the problem solver here. All of us, dapat. Pero kaya natin to. And that was why a lot of people wanted him to have another term, to give him more time to, you know, strengthen the nation. Of course, very few Filipinos were in favor of an extension or another term. And then he was followed by
Ramos and
Erap. Well, we all know what happened. Followed by GMA. Again, we all know what happened. And then followed by Pinoy. Again, you know, from Cory Aquino to Noynoy Aquino. What happened during all those years in between one Aquino and another? We did not become a strong nation. Although Pinoy, in fairness, was getting us somewhere. No? He had his own weaknesses. Corruption was not one of them, I think. But may missing element man siya. And I think the missing element that all these presidents, maybe with the exception of Ramos, was we need to have a sense of nationhood. We have to stop looking at our leaders as the Messiah. They cannot solve our problems for us. We have to be part of the solution. And unfortunately, this particular president that we have now likes to pretend that he is the Messiah. And in my view, he is destroying the nation.
But isn't that the problem when nations are ruled by sound bites? In the Philippines,
Well,
in the US, it's actually ruled by Twitter. Trump.
that's true. You know, no. Ang
Because like, if you look at Marcos, it was bagong lipunan. That was the call. During Cory, it was the Filipino is worth dying for. And then fighting
democracy.
for democracy. And then when it was Arab's time, when Ramos came, it was kaya natin to.
Kaya natin.
And then when it was Arab para sa masa. And then you have Gloria, what was Gloria's call? I
Strong
forget.
nation.
Strong Republic.
Strong Republic. Yeah.
And now, well, let's say, patayin natin lahat. I don't know. but when we come back, let's talk about the state of affairs of the Philippines after the break.